Well, this could all go very badly wrong if any of those come detached. Hopefully, well, I don't know, we've managed to drop about 3 litres into here so far. This is the Mac Daddy bouncer, and I've put the intermediate, I can't remember what that is, I can't remember what that is anyway. I'll have a look later, but it's the medium filter. Was it all stopped? No, I think it's still going, either that or it's blocked. What I did was I flushed the whole thing out with CO2. I literally just stuck the PVC hose on the end of there and then just gassed it all through. So that was all. Look, it's fucking stopped, hasn't it? Or has it? I don't know whether it has or not. Oh god, I don't know. Is it still? No, it looks like it's going down. Ah, God, it's been a long old day, I tell you. Well, one thing and another that I'll not bore anybody with. So this is filtering, because I just chucked the raspberries in there, filtering the raspberry wheat beer. I must stop calling it a raspberry Hefeweizen, because it wasn't actually brewed with a Hefeweizen yeast, and it's not going into a bottle, so you can't shake the yeast up and pour it into your glass at the end. Oh, look at me, almost sounding like I know what I'm talking about. Alright, well, this seems to be getting through alright. We can see the detritus in the bottom there. Yeah, come back when we think it might be finished. This is actually going far better than I expected. I was half expecting that filter to get clogged, but we're about 16. I just squirted a load more CO2 in there. It's doing all right. I'm going to take these blocks out in a second and ever so gently level this as that level goes down to where the Eulint bung is. Eulint tap on the other side. That, I'm going to have to weigh this in a minute, but I need to get the top on and get some CO2 in there ASAP. But that is a pretty full keg CO2. Now, I haven't really left a great deal of headroom on the top, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going to carve it right up and try it tonight. It would take, I think, 5 weeks to condition, something like that, can't remember. But that is pretty much a full keg. In fact, it is a full keg, over full. And that's how much was left in there. Right, so let's have a closer look at what is in there. Yeah, I could probably have poured another litre or so off of that. But what would I have done with that? Only pop it in bottles. That's 2.5 kilos of raspberries, believe it or not, in there. Doesn't look overly yummy raspberry-ish at the moment. But yeah, so that's good. Happy with that. We didn't have to get a Krausen on there. Let's have a look at what's in that Bouncer Mac Daddy filter. Right, so can I do this one-handed? Oh yes, it appears I can. So that do you know, I think cold crashing really was the key to that, because there's very, very little detritus come out, but what little there was has been caught very well by the Bouncer Mac Daddy. So those large particles, large bits of gammy raspberry, but also have a look at these smaller particulates. That's good. I'm very impressed with that, I have to say. I wouldn't have wanted to use the larger filter. In fact, I could have used the finer one probably and got away with it. But that's done its job. I'm really going to regret not straining all that and getting a bottle or so out of it, you know. But it's because I'm in Yorkshire, and in Yorkshire, if you don't recycle stuff, you get fined. So I'm not sure how the fishies are going to like raspberries. I hope they do like them. They might think it's grains again. Come down for the grains. Right, give that a rinse. Distracted again. I'll tell you what, that Y yeast 1010 American wheat beer yeast is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to give this a quick wash out and sanitization, and then, because getting to like these wheat beers, so I overbrewed another one. We've got about, I think, probably 25 odd litres in here, so I'm going to drop probably about 8 or so, maybe not that much, don't know yet, 6, 7, 8 into that bucket over there, which is about to get washed out. And then I've got 2.5 kilos of blackberries to go in here, and I'm going to put 1 kilo of strawberries in there. They've been frozen, so it should have broken down all the cells, so that will be coming up quite soon. What do you get with your bouncer? It's ever so straightforward. You've got the main chamber, you've got the lid, and then you get 4 connectors. These are for your 3/8 connectors, and they also give you, come on, focusy, thank you. They also give you some for 1/2 inch or 12mm. Although here, top tip, this is 16mm internal diameter, and that clamps on with these really easily. And the thing is, you don't have to fight then to get them out to clean it, whereas with 12mm you have to warm it up with hot water, squeeze it on there, and then it's a pain in the ass to get off when you're done. So there's my little top tip. I haven't got one for this, not for the... Anyway, the filter it comes with, as it tells you on here. I'm sorry, my phone really doesn't seem to be enjoying focusing very much at the moment. Now this is the Mac Daddy, and the filter that it comes with is 915 micron. The other thing, just to mention, it comes like that, just with a tie wrap, so there's no additional plastic packaging. I bought the extra filter set, which is the blue and the white, which increases. So you've got the blue one, which is 304 micron, and then ultra fine you've got the, is that focusing, the white one, which is 178. So but it does come in a little plastic bag, but still minimal packaging. This is the, what is this the one? This is the one I used. So I did that that racking of the raspberry wheat beer a week or two ago, and I'm about to do the blackberry wheat beer, and I'm going to use the very fine, super fine micron. Now, all in all, this lot cost me 50 quid or something or other. I'll put links underneath to them on Amazon, but you'd be a bit bonkers to buy them from Amazon. This came from a place down in Cornwall. I needed to jolly them on a little bit, so I'm a bit reluctant just to recommend them. I think I ordered it on a Thursday. I had to send them an email on a Monday or Tuesday. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna complain. Put it that way. But I'll put a link underneath so that you can see that you're probably going to get the right one. But don't buy it off Amazon, because I think this alone is about 50 quid or something on Amazon. The only other thing I did, because I can be a bit of a muppet sometimes, is I got a Sharpie and I emphasised the arrows. Because sometimes in the heat of the moment, when it's not overly clear, it's perhaps easy to get it round front to back. Okay, let's have a little look now at using that superfine filter here on the BREW. Now again, the mist you can see in now is CO2. I've just purged the CO2 line, and so let's see what we get coming out, if indeed anything. Oh, we are getting, well, that's good, look at that, through his little, right, now this is really gammy and manky in here. Let's see how this little white filter does back when it's nearly done. Just under 18 litres. I'm happy with that. I have now burped it a few times and I've set the pressure to about 35. And let's have a look at the detritus. Now this is made with that W yeast. I don't know how you pronounce it. Y yeast. Y 1010. And that is bonkers. It goes off like a volcano. If you've had a look at the little time-lapse video that I did recently, remember to take your temperature probe off first. But it's nearly the weekend. Now I'm having to be really careful at the moment because I put my back out a couple of weeks ago and it is really iffy. Like iffy. Hang on, let me just go and get a spoon. Now, at any other time I probably would have strained this through some or pushed it through or done something, and kind of, I don't know, what could you do with these now? I don't know. I know where they're going, because there does seem like an awful lot of wasted liquid in the bottom, but I've got nearly 18 litres. That's good enough for me. And these all came from the meadow where I walk Marley, or most of them did, or off the 5 Weirs Walk. So there's a lot of gunk in here. Let's see what that little white filter has pulled out. Ooh, it's like voodoo. Oh, now because I didn't break those blackberries down as much, there's not as much, gammy bits like we had with that raspberries. Get out, you fucker. Bollocks, I'm gonna have to pause it. It's alright, I'll edit the swearing out, or maybe not. Now, phone, would you please focus? Focus all. Right. Well, it's managed to pull out a fair amount. You look down there of sediment. There's no big chunks, no big lumps. So it might be worth trying this on a really, really heavily dry hopped beer, because that's where I tend to find occasionally you get sort of like 2.5–3 inches of trub or tube at the bottom, and I have to tilt the fermenter back if I'm using a plastic bucket. I was going to finish the video there, and then I remembered I made 27 litres of that wheat beer before I infused. I then split it, so there was about 20 with the blackberries and about 5.5–6 with the bought-in frozen strawberries, which I did mush up. So this will be a better test because it's more mushy uplet. Also, this is a different tap. This is not really my favourite sort of tap, but it has got, I think this takes 16 mil. This stuff 16 mil, which does means that we can test the larger connectors. So I've washed all this down. I'll replace the connectors for the 1/2 inch ones, and we'll see how well that little white filter, which is in here somewhere, which I've cleaned out. These clean ever so easily, incidentally. Let's see how well that pulls out the crap from the strawberry wheat beer. Moment of truth. It's only going into one of these little mini kegs. There's only about 5 litres in there. Now, I don't like these taps, I've got to admit. I don't trust them. So I might end up holding this. No, it doesn't look like it's going to fall off. Right. Well, we have a strawberry wheat full of mush going into a recently CO2 flushed mini keg. Back in a bit. Now there's a fair amount more slurry in there, I think, and broken fruity matter. So what has this managed to pull out? Well, let's do the pause again while I whip it out. So first thing to say, definitely that it has clogged, because this was still remaining in there. But I still think it's done bloody well, because that was all that was left. It's almost filled the mini keg. So I'm happy with that. In fact, I think if there was more sort of liquid pressure to push through, I think it would probably have been all right. But yes, it does exactly as it is supposed to do, and it was easier to get the hoses off rather than having to pour boiling water over them and pull them. So, as I said before, I'm not displeased with this. I think, it will be something I will end up playing with and seeing how much of the sediment it actually can pull out of a fermentation vessel with something like a double dry hopped IPA. We shall see. But for the time being, as I said, happy. Bouncer, Mac Daddy, links below. If you like this rubbish, please feel free to subscribe to the channel.